Greetings, everyone. It is I,
Count Jackula.
and I want to talk to you about something very interesting that's going on right now in the Muslim world. Obviously, we've heard all about the Manchester attacks in London that happened over the week and some of the subsequent attacks that happened in the wake of it. And we've heard the usual gnashing of teeth from both sides. Oh, don't blame all Muslims. Nah, Muslims are terrorists. We need stronger borders. And of course, the plaintive cry for basic humanity.
We can react in a lot of ways. We can react in anger. Or we can react by doing, why did I stay in this city for 17 years? This city is a community.
But one of the things that is often being said right now, I want to draw a little bit more attention to, and that is terrorism knows no faith, and how you have all misunderstood what those words mean. We may have been too busy with our own political bickering back and forth between nationalist and globalist forces to notice, but Islam actually had a response. Earlier yesterday, a group of 130 imams and religious leaders have said that they will refuse the traditional Islamic funeral for the London Bridge attackers. They said they would not carry out the ritual that is normally performed for every Muslim, regardless of their actions. This is a huge deal. What you have to understand about the Muslim prayer is that it's not a rite in the way you might think of a Christian or Catholic rite. It's considered an obligation. It's an obligation for the congregation to seek pardon for the deceased. And by saying they will not do it, the Imams, who are Muslim priests, for those of you who didn't know what that was, are saying that they will not fulfill this obligation. Here's why that's kind of religiously significant. Because the funeral rites are the obligation of all Muslims. And according to the rite, if no one fulfills it, then all Muslims will be held accountable. And they mean accountable to Allah. So what they are doing is holding the faith hostage, putting it at a risk that it should never be in, according to itself. This is heresy on the part of the Imams who refuse to do the funeral rites. They've broken a very serious religious obligation to do this, to condemn terrorism. And the thing is, this isn't new, but no one was paying attention. This has become increasingly common over the last few years. Last year, in fact, during the French attacks, the Imams refused to give funeral rites to those terrorists as well. And why this is significant is that while in the liberal world, a lot of Muslims are way more lax in their faith, in the fundamentalist Islamic world, this is huge. This is a gigantic deal because you have to remember how fucking literal and serious the fundamentalists take their faith. Because this doesn't just condemn the terrorists. This condemns the terrorists' families. This is an attempt to rally the entire Islamic world around the idea that terrorists are infidels. Now, a lot of you may say, oh, well, they shouldn't believe in all that stuff anyway. Okay, that's nice, but they do. They do believe. And the transformation of a religion is not going to come from atheism. It's going to come from the religion itself. Let's be clear. The responsibility and job of saving Islam is Islam's. And something like this has been a moment I have been waiting for. This represents a shift, a small shift at the moment, but a shift towards a more globalist, liberal interpretation of the Islamic faith. These Imams have basically said, we are in the West. We are in the modern world. Those old rules that you follow, they do not apply. Get out. You do not speak for us. And we will condemn you to hell if you persist. You fight religious meaning through the language of meaning. This is very clear. So, how does this relate to the idea of terrorism knows no faith? Well, as you probably guessed, a lot of people use that to basically say, oh, not all terrorists are Muslims. That's not what it means. That line actually came from an Imam. Terrorism knows no faith. He wasn't saying, stop being Islamophobic and stop picking on us. He was saying, terrorists do not see the light of Allah. They are faithless.